Hello, my name is Jamison Cooper, and I'm going to be talking about Carpenters Hall and its history. First off, when I actually heard the name of it, the first thing that came to mind was crafting or having the occupation of being a carpenter. But this building was used for much more than that, and it's actually where some important American historical events occurred. So firstly, Carpenters Hall is a two-story historical building that was built by architect Robert Smith in the Old City neighborhood in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1770. This building is known for being the first Continental Congress meeting place in 1774, which is also where they decided to ban any more importing of African American slaves and to discontinue the slave trade within the colonies, which was a step towards ending slavery. This building was originally built for the Carpenters Company of Philadelphia, since they didn't have their own meeting place. The Carpenters Company was a society of master craftsmen that were modeled after the guilds of England. What I actually found ironic was that when you think of Carpenters Hall, in past information that you might know, the first Continental Congress most likely comes to mind. So, even though it was made for the Carpenters Company, which is the oldest trade guild in America, they really aren't known for doing anything with it, except for holding their annual meetings. When you look up Carpenters Hall's history, it would seem as though everyone but the Carpenters Company used it. But also, though others used Carpenters Hall for their meetings and other purposes, the Carpenters Company still operated what was going on and basically ran it behind the scenes. Since Carpenters Hall was a new building and close to the government's meeting place, what we know today as Independence Hall, it was considered an ideal place for the delegates to meet. And it makes sense. You got your government business in one place, and then you'd come together and converge for a discussion in the other. After Congress moved their meetings elsewhere, Carpenters Hall was used for various purposes and rented out for many others. For example, during the Revolutionary War, the lower floor of the building was used as a hospital that held both wounded American and British soldiers. They also used the basement to store weapons and equipment. It was also used for the founding meeting of the Society of Englishmen and Sons of Englishmen, as well as Franklin's Library Company and the American Philosophical Society. Carpenters Hall has been a home to many renters that were involved in professions such as science, the arts, and commerce. In 1791, Carpenters Hall was also used as the first bank ever in the United States, and it was also the first bank to ever be robbed in the United States, where $162,821 were stolen in 1798. Eventually, in 1856, the Carpenters Company had decided to renovate the building to preserve as many of its original features as possible. Carpenters Hall was declared a National Historic Landmark in 1970 and today is part of Independence National Historical Park. While it still serves its purpose as a meeting place for the Carpenters Company meetings today as well. That's all I know about Carpenters Hall, and I hope you learned something new, whether it be about a building you didn't know existed, or you learned a little more about Carpenters Hall. Again, my name is Jamison Cooper, and I hope you enjoyed.